Oh my goodness, you guys, I've been muted. Okay. Thank you, Annette. I so appreciate that. Um, wow. Wow. Okay, so we're just gonna like start all over again. Um, welcome here. I am so glad that you are here. And I did hit record. So that way, if we have some people later that want to listen, they can. And I just want to say welcome to each of you. I'm grateful for each of you. And I think it's a really great opportunity to gather the community together like this because there's so many stories that are not being shared and being told. So I just know that there is so much to be gathered here. So now I'm here like trying to remember what I said and what I didn't say because I was like going off. So anyways, you guys are muted. Thanks for muting when you hop on a call like this. It's always a good idea just to mute. And then if you have a question or have something that you want to say, there might be some time for that. You can use the chat. If you haven't identified where the chat box is, go ahead and do that. Feel free to drop any questions that you might have in there. We might have some time for Q&A. I'd like to keep this call to like 20 minutes. But while you're looking for the chat, go ahead and drop in the chat where you are from, where you're at. Like, tell us what state or province or area you are. It'll just be fun to see what we have represented here. This call is going to be, we're going to be trying it out for like doing it 2 Tuesday nights a month. Did I say this already? Just a time to gather, share stories, learn a little bit more about product information. Sometimes there's questions about how do I use my perks? What are perks? What does a subscription mean? Do I have to have a subscription? And the short answer to that is no. Always it's no. But what is the benefit? What does that mean? So we might just be covering some questions like that. And if you have a question that comes up as I was, saying some of those things, feel free to drop it in the chat. All right, we're from Manitoba and Oregon tonight. That's awesome. So we've got the West showing up. So some more of you tell us Ohio, Elkhart, Indiana. Awesome. I am in Dryden, Ontario. Also things like Pivotal. How many of you know about Pivotal? Do you use Pivotal? Have you found the recipes in Pivotal? Pivotal is free for VIP customers, great recipes, PDFs that you can download, and just really great tips for staying healthy. And I love when Plexus came out with Pivotal. It is their way of helping us with active, healthy lifestyle. And if there's one thing that we know when it comes to a healthy lifestyle, we want to have a variety of ways that we are investing in our health. Supplements is awesome. Supplements is a pretty simple way and it's really impactful, especially when you're using Plexus supplements because they really are effective. But also moving your body. You guys, our bodies were made to move. So like, a 20-minute walk, lifting some weights, whatever it is. Also getting outside is like so good for our mental health. Also, did you know that a 10-minute walk right after your meal is actually more I'm gonna kind of at a loss of what words to say, but it's more valuable than even a 30-minute walk first thing in the morning. And the reason for that is because of how it helps to regulate your blood sugar right after you eat. So take this as a challenge. Go for a 10-minute walk right after you eat. And this is why I think what is the country? Is it Italy or something? It's really common for people to like go for a walk right after a meal. It's like genius. So supplementing, getting your movement in, and healthy food choices. You guys, what we put in, the more like what we are, what we put in our body. And so the more we can make those healthy food choices, the better. And Pivotal, the program Pivotal is a really great way to help us with that. So if you are one that likes new recipes, you'll have to check that out. All right. So if either of you have a piece of your story that you'd like to share for about 5 minutes tonight, please drop in the chat me, and I'm going to give you a few moments after I just share a little bit about a piece of my story. You guys, I'm probably not even going to tell you all of my story because it encompasses so many different things. But the one thing I will tell you is when I started 7 years ago on these products, yes, 7 years ago, I was very skeptical. I didn't really think it was going to help. But I remember feeling slightly hopeful. I was like, well, if it really can help my friends, and mostly what I was attracted to was to not be so tired all throughout the day and when I woke up in the morning. But my baby wasn't sleeping at night, and I was like, I don't see how this is going to help me because I'm tired because my baby ain't sleeping, and these pills ain't going to help my baby sleep. So I was very skeptical. That's how I went into it. And I just got really consistent. I just really focused on consistency. Even I would say in the first 8 months, like I saw some changes happening, but I was really consistent with Triplex and X Factor. It's what a lot of people start with. However, it's not the only thing people start with, but it is kind of like the core of what we have. And, I noticed it wasn't like a big, huge aha moment of like, suddenly I just have like Energizer Bunny energy, but I just noticed that I wasn't so tired by supper time. Like that's kind of how it happened. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like this is actually doing something. So I also noticed like my regularity. I was definitely helping with that, your digestive system, because you guys, did you know, like you need to go like 2 to 3 times a day. So if you're going once a day, that's great. But if you can get it to 2 to 3 times a day, because my naturopath friend, Jessica Hugendorn, she's a very visual word picture, and probably I've shared some stories from her, but she says, if 3 cars go into the car wash, 3 cars need to come out. So if you eat 3 times a day, you need to be eliminating 2. So notice changes with my digestion. And then I would say about 8 months, I noticed changes with my anxiety. And 1.5 years, I really noticed some changes with my cravings because I kind of tweaked my products a bit because I started learning more about them and just really committed to it. Probably, and I'm going to really fast forward to like the last 1.5 years, 2 years. As I started hitting menopause, you guys, it's no joke. Drop a 1 in the chat if you know anything about menopause, like hormones. I mean, I feel like I'm young for this, but I did start noticing this, and I was not taking X Factor Plus. So I started adding that in, and I was really surprised, but I had to get consistent with it, you guys, and I had a hard time getting consistent with it. Yes. 5.5 years in on this, and I still had a hard time getting consistent with it because you need to take it with food. But I would say once I got about 2 months consistent with it, I really started to notice changes with like my insomnia, night sweats, hot flashes, and things like that. I was already taking X Factor Original, and this part of my story is like new, like 2 months ago. But so I was taking like X Factor Plus and X Factor Original for about 1 year together, and I was loving the results that I was having, like with my hormone stuff. And so I decided to quit taking X Factor Original. Bad idea, really bad idea. But let's just say I am back on the X Factor Original again, and it's the combination. Here's what I want to tell you. It's the combination of our products that is where the magic sauce really happens. And so finally, I'm not dealing with all those hot flashes again, and I'm sleeping better at night. And so it's really incredible when we feed our bodies what it needs. Um, so much amazingness can happen. Also, about a year ago, year and a half ago, and I shared this in a reel today, I think it was, but I had very little movement in my shoulder, some kind of a frozen shoulder or something like that going on, very little movement. And I was on the wait list for physical therapy. And I used to sleep on my arm. You guys don't ever do that. Does anybody sleep with your arm up? Anybody? Tell me in the chat if you do. It's not a good idea. Okay. Finally, my chiropractor told me, he's like, you've got to stop this or you're going to have surgery. I said, okay, I get it. But I already had damage that was done. And for about the 9 months, 8 months that I was waiting for physical therapy, I got really consistent with adding in collagen and I did a number of resets. And you guys, I did not need physical therapy. Okay. And that is the compounding effects of our products. Did I notice a big difference like in the first 2 months of collagen and like doing 1 or 2 resets? Maybe some, I don't even remember what that was like, but I just knew that by the time they were going to call me for physical therapy, which I knew could be maybe like 9 to 12 months, I wanted to not need them and I didn't. So I saved money by not needing physical therapy, but also the time. Do you know how many hours I would have spent at the physical therapy when I could be doing something else? Time with my family, time in my business, cleaning my house, whatever. So investing in our wellness is really important. If we don't, then we end up investing in our sickness. I don't think I'm quite saying that quote right, but yes, like that kind of thing. So that's a little piece of my story. If nobody here has said that they want to share their story, the girl that I had talked to wasn't feeling well today. So that didn't happen. But you guys, there will be another time. I would love for you to share something at some point, what you've noticed, because that's what we're going to do in this community is we're going to gather and we're going to share our stories. We're going to learn from each other, because sometimes when you hear somebody else's story, then it's like, oh, I've been struggling with that, or I know somebody else. Tell me more about that. Why does that work that way? How can we collaborate and learn from each other? Because y'all have so much to teach me. I've learned so much from you guys already, and I know that we could just like do this with each other. So the one product I wanted to highlight tonight, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But the one, you hear a lot about our triplex combo, which is still our flagship, our slim. I need to take the Slim, the BioCleanse, and the ProBio 5 or ProBio CA. It is our flagship product. And one of the things that sets it apart so incredibly much is, our pink drink's got prebiotics in it that feed the good bacteria in your gut. But rarely will you find a probiotic that has both probiotic and antifungal in it. And so many people are struggling with yeast and candida overgrowth. Your body needs a little bit of yeast and candida in it to help decompose your body when you die. I know it sounds so morbid. That's the truth. But the yeast and the candida, it feeds on sugar and environmental toxins and stress. And what else does candida feed on? Y'all drop some things in the chat. It feeds antibiotics, prescription drugs. Yes, we need them sometimes. It's true, we do, but we also have tools to help rebuild our bodies when that happens. So having a probiotic that has antifungal in it is just not something that you're probably going to find anywhere else. And together, honestly, when you use them together, you will get much better results. So, a lot of us know about triplex. However, sometimes, you know what? I still have to be reminded to, be consistent. I don't have to be reminded very much, but once in a while I'll go to bed. Oh shoot, I forgot to take my ProBio, and I will get out of bed and I will go take it. But MetaBurn, I don't know how many of you guys use MetaBurn. Drop a 2 in the chat if you use MetaBurn. Maybe not a lot of people do. It helps to support metabolism is what it says. MetaBurn is it's a metabolism and a mood booster. It helps, it does help with like stress. It helps with energy as well because it has a little bit of very clean natural caffeine in it. It has a lot of adaptogenic herbs that help to burn fat, what they call the white, fluffy fat of your belly, hips, thighs, and buttocks. That's one of the descriptions for MetaBurn. But one of my favorite things to do with the Plexus products, and that is to sometimes just sit down at Google and look at the ingredients on the back and Google the ingredients. I have learned so much with our products this way. That's often what I have done when I've noticed a product started really helping me. I just start Googling the ingredients because then I'm like, oh, I want to know why this is working. So I have done that with MetaBurn, and I'm just going to share just a couple of things. I'm not going to go over near all the products. But the Grains of Paradise is one of the herbs that is in MetaBurn. And that is the herb that if you do not take MetaBurn with water or food, you're going to feel a burning in your throat afterwards. It's not heartburn. It's because this grain is like a peppery grain. So that's why you want to make sure you take it with food or like a full glass of water. But some of the things that Grains of Paradise does, it is an adaptogenic herb. It helps to promote weight loss. It increases energy levels and it increases brain function. I mean, who doesn't want that these days? There was, let's see, rhodiola is also an adaptogenic herb. It helps to beat depression. It helps with your energy. Rhodiola is good for boosting your memory. It's also really good cardiac support. It's stress relief. It's also good for sexual health. Good for immune support. It's good for fighting those cancer guru things in your body. So cancer prevention or cancer fighter, maybe you might say. It also helps to assist in weight loss. So there's a number of ginseng is another herb that is in here, which is good for cognitive function. Ginseng is also an anti-inflammatory. And it also helps with energy. So the energy is not just from the little bit of caffeine that's in it, which I absolutely love. Ginseng also helps to lower blood sugar. Actually, green tea is the bit of caffeine that's in here. And green tea is an antioxidant as well, which helps to decrease inflammation. Green tea helps with inflammation, and it also helps with reducing blood pressure. So there's so much more, but I love, here's what I like to do. I like to just get a sheet of paper and I'll get me some colorful pens and I'll write down all the different ingredients. And then I just take my little paper with me to Google and I start reading about the ingredients and it just like goes, whoo. So I love doing that. So just bringing you some nuggets from things that I have learned about the ingredients here. So I'm just going to wrap this up tonight. We will see you again on the second Tuesday night. And hopefully it will work for one of you guys to share your story because you don't want to hear my story all the time. I know that it will. But thanks for showing up tonight. We're just kind of like kicking off this new community gathering. Feel free to bring other people to come and hear the stories. People that maybe you've gotten started, people who you know are interested in the product, that's fine too. Tuesday evenings. All right. 2nd and 4th. Thanks for being here and we'll see y'all later. Bye.